So, okay. I'm going to check both chats at the same time to make sure everyone has any questions answered and that we are good to go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's a lot of me on the screen right now. There's a lot of me on the screen. I don't know if we need that much of me on the screen right now, but anyways, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the 9 revenue streams that come from being a best-selling author. My name is Corey Gladwell. I am the co-founder and CEO of Authrs.io, book publishing for busy executives. So what do we do? Our team, really, it's not me anymore. It used to be me. It used to be a one-man bandstand years ago. Now it is our team. So our entire team is incredible people, just the most amazing people, award-winning writers, editors, designers, client success managers, just some of my favorite humans, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And so when busy executives or professionals, when they have the experience, right? They've worked at some huge government wing, right? The Navy or Pentagon or whatever else, or a corporate executive, a leader, C-suite, presidents of a big bank or whatever it may be. When they have, or nonprofits, we work with a handful of nonprofits as well. When they have an amazing experience, right? They've had this life that's been lived experience, and not only the education, but the lived experience. They usually don't have the time to sit and write a book, right? They usually don't have the time to sit and handwrite an entire book. And so, but they have the experience to actually have the book written. So what we do at Authors, what our team does now is we bring a client on board and we, do like a full client profile, help them, kind of distill that gold from them. Like, who are you? What do you represent? Who's your audience? What's the theme of the book? What's it going to be about? And then they work with their client success manager and their writer and make sure that they create a book, a best-selling book from that, right? And so the book has to be not only a best-selling book on the inside, right? Amazing content, really well written, read well, engage the reader, all of that. But the cover design has to be great. We format it, edit it, publish it, launch it to a bestseller. When we say bestseller too, again, I've clarified this a few times, but I'll always clarify again, is that we're talking top 10 on Amazon placement in at least one category. We do Amazon ads and social media blasts and email to our JV partners and a bunch of things to launch our clients' books. We have 40 upcoming this next quarter. If you're watching this later than today, which you probably will be, most people do, it is for Q4 of 2025. We have 40 best-selling books coming, going live that we're publishing and launching. And so our team does all of that. Then we put them on 6 guaranteed podcasts and do a PR campaign nationwide. So the reason number one, I'm explaining what we do, right? I think it's very important to know what we do here at Authors and who I am and why you should listen to me. I'm a 4-time best-selling author myself. I've written all my books. Our team is amazing. I haven't used them to write a book for me yet, but I probably will at some point. Being a writer myself, I took on clients and I would write the books and I would edit and I would format and I would publish and do the cover design and all the things, right? Launch them and do everything. And then I would consult them. And so now our team is able to do that as well, right? Like where our clients get all the consulting. How do you monetize being a best-selling author? How do you monetize that bestseller status? And so today, what we're going to talk about is not only me and the amazing team, we're going to talk about the 9 revenue streams. Oh, someone had a question. Yeah, so when we it's about being a best-selling author. When we talk about a best-selling author, what we're talking about again is top 10 placement on Amazon. There has to be a certain amount of sales. Like you can't fake that title, right? Doesn't always mean you're going to get the reviews, right? You have to work for the reviews as well, right? Just like any business, like you might sell 5,000-6,000 copies of a book and then get 10 reviews or 5 reviews, right? You have to actually work for the reviews and ask and prompt them to come back. And there's a method to that as well that we teach, but. That being said, back to what I was saying. So they, sorry, get sidetracked there. But thank you for asking the question. Please ask any questions that come up anytime. The key though with being a best-selling author, it's not just, you want to have an amazing best-selling book. That's like 1,000% needed. You have to have an amazing best-selling book that reads like a best-selling book, that is an incredible book inside, not just outside. But additionally, once you're launched to a bestseller and you're getting that credibility and that authority and you're out there, right, and you're actually getting the traction, you have to be able to monetize it, right? Like there's not really a point in becoming a best-selling author besides like the legacy aspect. I guess there's that. So shooting myself in the foot on that. There is a legacy aspect. There is like, I want to have legacy and tell my family and my kids and my grandkids all about the legacy and all about, my life story and who I am. I think that whether you get sales or make any money from it or not is super important and almost invaluable. So there is that. Short of that, though, there needs to be, at least for me as someone who is a creative but also a business owner, there needs to be an ROI. And so when I think of an ROI, when it talks about being a best-selling author, you really want to. I see the question. One second, I'll come back and answer. I promise. I promise. You really want to. How do I put it? You want to have a plan. Now, you don't have to go after every single revenue stream, right? Like, I think that's the thing people get confused about is that number one, they think there's no money in being a best-selling author, which is just not true. There's a ton of money in it. There's multiple 6 and 7 figures of money annually in being a best-selling author. Um, but number two, they think it's just from book sales, right? They think, oh, if I get enough book sales, then I'll make all this money and I'll get a huge book deal and then I will be well and dandy. Now, not to say that that's not true, right? Because I know I feel like if you ever watch any other videos of me, I probably talk a lot of shit. I don't know if I can swear in the lives, but about book sales. And I don't mean that in some negative way. Like, I don't mean that in some bad way. It's just I try to downplay the aspect of book sales because it's not the only thing and it's not the main thing. And I think so much of like, oh, if you have a book, you need to get a bunch of book sales. That has, I mean, and that traditionally was the way, I guess. So that's why that concept is there. And 40 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, whatever, 100 years ago, you wrote a book and you got a book deal, or you wrote a book and you got a bunch of book sales and you just went out and tried to sell this book to anybody and everybody. Um, and that's when publishing agencies, right? Publishing companies, the big ones, Hay House and Penguin and Random, that's when they became the go-to, kind of gatekeepers, right, of best-selling books, is because it went from people could sell their books themselves to then going and saying, hey, now I have to get a book deal in order to make deals or get distribution at all. And you couldn't really get in Barnes and Noble, or you couldn't get really any traction unless you had a great book deal, right? And then it became more and more exclusive to where, like in the 80s and 90s, it's like you had to be a celebrity, you had to be some amazing story. It's like today's version of that is like, and this is even changing too, but today's version of that is Netflix. Someone just said that, Netflix. Yeah, like having a docuseries, or having a documentary, or having a TV show. That used to be like very exclusive, and it still is today. I mean, it's pretty exclusive. You have your own TV show. Like, that's pretty incredible. But even that is being like decentralized, right, and democratized, right? Even that is starting to change to where if you have a great pitch for a show or a movie, like you can get it in the hands of people, and you can get on Netflix, you can get on Amazon Prime, like you can make it happen. It's no longer like those few channels that like control everything, right? It's like it's more and more of the streaming and more of like, you can create a YouTube series and then all of a sudden now, boom, you have enough traction to go get picked up by HBO or by Netflix or by Amazon or whatever the streaming service is, right? Insert streaming service here. And so that's how it used to be with books, right? You had to get a book deal and you had to be a celebrity and famous person or have this crazy story and not even a good story. Just like you could have been like, there's people that own the family rights to like the someone in their family that was like a crazy murderer or whatever, right? And they get to sell their docudrama, whatever thing to whatever it is, right? Netflix or to some big TV thing in the past, or right now it could be Netflix or whatever. But and that was, you'd sell that story to a book publisher, and then they'd have a writer write it, and so on and so forth, and then you would make your royalties, and they'd put you on tour or whatever. And so that's just not the world we live in anymore. That's just not the reality anymore. Sorry, it's so weird seeing there's a couple different screens going because I'm live different places, and so it's like there's too many of me. As much, I mean, I love myself, I do, but just not to this degree of like the different screens that are sharing right now. So I need to sync these together, but it's pretty funny. Anyway, side note. So today in the world of publishing, yes, book sales can make you money, and I'm not against making money from book sales. We have some clients that do, and that's the number one. So that's like one of, sorry, not the number one, but that's one of the 9 revenue streams I'm going to go over today. So I'm going to go over 9 different revenue streams. There's 12, really about a dozen or so in total. and I'll briefly go over some of those. So there's about again about a dozen different revenue streams. I'm going to go over 9 of them today. And if you're trying to take notes, or if you don't, someone in the chat, yeah, there will be a replay. This is also live on YouTube, and I don't think anywhere else. Maybe Facebook, maybe not. But I'll share this replay. If you registered on the webinar, if you're live, you can go check it out. We might take it down off the live on YouTube, but you can register for this or join our email list. Go to authors.io, authrs.io, and reach out to us, schedule a call. Again, or if you're on the email list, you register for this, then you'll get the replay. But back to the revenue stream. So there is, so you can take notes, but you also, again, you're going to have this, so you don't have to worry about it. You can watch it later. So let me pull this up. So there's book sales. Yes, there is book sales. We'll talk about that. Paid speaking engagements, big one I like to talk about a lot. Consulting services, coaching services, right? Like that's another big one. We'll talk about that. Online courses, membership communities, having like a community where people are paying you $20 a month, $200 a month, $2,000 a month, right? Those are different communities. And it could be a service, it could be just coaching, it could be a software, it could be whatever. All of that does tie together with having a best-selling book. Corporate and board opportunities. So that's a big one. And I'll talk about that as well. Number 7, licensing and certification programs. So this is a big one. IP is a lot more valuable than people realize when it comes to not only like, hey, I have my own method, I have my own formula, I have my own system. There's also, again, if you are, and not that we do like really a ton of children's books or anything like that, we mostly do nonfiction business, marketing, biography, autobiography, or whatever else, in that space. But if you are in the fiction realm, or children's books, all of that, IP is a huge one, and I'll talk more about that as well. But licensing and certification programs are so great for even nonfiction and consulting programs and all of that. Like, people pay good money for that, and you make money a lot. You can make a lot of annual recurring revenue from that. So brand sponsorships and partnerships, that's another one we'll talk about. I'll dive deep into that. And then growing your current business. So people they kind of forget about this one, like growing your current business. And I've already gone past, I think this is already beyond 9, but growing your current business, people forget that like, it's a marketing tool. It's a huge marketing tool. You've seen some people recently do $100 million launches with the use of a book. So it can grow your business and grow your email list and grow all that stuff. I talked about licensing deals, media deals, all that kind of stuff. That can be for shows and movies and all kinds of things as well. Screenplays, etc. Equity plays, like you can use it to leverage yourself to get equity in startups, negotiate a ton of those different things. Obviously, there's legacy, but the big thing is the multiplier effect. So let me just, I want to make sure, okay, the questions, I'll answer that one in just a second. So let me see if this answers it. I think the question you're asking, this might answer the question. So someone said, like, what if you want to do all of them, right? Or do you have to choose one of them, or et cetera, et cetera? So you don't have to choose any of them. They're depending on your specific situation, there may be a higher priority one that you're going to want to move on first, and then from there you'll want to have like lead down the path. Let me just make sure I get this right. One second here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing all the deets with you guys first. There we go. Okay, got the Q&A ready. Okay. So you may have a priority of one that you want to do first. Like, there may be a specific one, and I just want to make sure I'm sharing this as well here. There may be a specific one that's going to work best for you, right? So like, how do I put this? If you, let me just make sure I hold on one second. Someone's asking if they can get into the Q&A. I want to make sure this one works properly. Cool. Okay, this one's live. Done and done. Okay, cool. So there may be, again, to just reiterate for the 7th time, sorry, there may be a specific one that's going to work for you that's like a higher priority. So what do I mean by that? If you have a consulting company already, let's just say that, right? Like, you may not want to worry about the IP and licensing today, right? You may want to focus on how this best-selling book that you have that our team created for you, or you did yourself, if you want. Um, you may want to focus on how that can leverage, right, getting leads and booked calls and sales calls and new clients, i.e., new clients, right? Not just for the credibility and authority, but also as a lead magnet, as something that drives people in, the traffic in, et cetera, et cetera. Like all those things, that may be your number one thing you want to focus on. So, because it's a higher priority, right? And it's going to bring in a higher revenue, like an ROI faster, right? Um, and then you'll go, okay, cool. Now I want to explore the next one. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's different options of what is a priority to you um, based on your unique situation. And our team talks about this. We go over this with you on your onboarding and all that, and your consulting and everything too. So, um, but again, those are nine different. I think I went over 12 different revenue streams, but like there's nine specific ones. We're going to dive deep into almost everything I mentioned. I'll go over into why that matters, how to utilize them, how to actually make a return on investment for you. By the way, we have maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, just so you know, there's an end to this. I won't be talking forever as much as I may want to, as much as you probably don't want to hear me talk that long. There is an end. There's a light at the end of this tunnel. So the first thing I want to talk about before I dive into each one of them is the multiplier effect. Why it's important to not only just have one, right? Why it's not just book sales, why it's not just consulting, or it's not just speaking, right? Is the multiplier effect. When you combine these streams, the total is far greater than the sum of its parts, right? So these different revenue streams combined are going to be much greater than the individual revenue streams themselves. So an example of this is you have a best-selling book written by our amazing team. I think so, or you just have one, and just for those who are just doing it themselves, that ends up growing your audience, right? You're sharing it, you're out there on socials, you're sharing it everywhere. That's growing your audience. That leads into someone finding you and saying, "God, you'd be great to speak at our event. Your book is right on this topic. It's about it's about revenue streams. I don't know, bear with me here. um, and we have a business conference. I'd love for you to speak at it. Da, 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 da. Now you go speak at that event. That attracts more consulting clients for your offer, and tied to your book about revenue streams, which now I feel like I need to publish that book for whatever reason. That leads into you getting massive results for these clients who you're consulting, and then they say, hey, like, all these people on your email list that have now joined but they can't afford your consulting, they say, I would love a course version of this. And you say, oh, you know what, okay, I'll make a more affordable $2,000 course um, for all of you out there. And then you sell them the course, and then that eventually over time the course becomes something where they're like, hey, we actually love the content, we're getting massive results, but we want to be part of the community, right? And you obviously can't do consulting for everyone one-on-one. That's not scalable, right? So you say, oh, why don't I do a membership? This evolves into a membership. So now that course and that consulting evolves into a monthly membership. People are paying 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, whatever it is, 5,000 a month membership. And now you have this amazing membership of great people getting great results. And then because of that success and the people that you help have success, you now land some board seats, right, to help with a few companies to scale, to do startups, to do whatever. And then that drives growth in your core business, and this whole thing becomes like an amazing flywheel. So um, that being said, that is the multiplier effect. Now, so all the revenue streams matter. Now let's dive into the specific revenue streams. Let me pause for a moment and see if there's any questions. Questions, 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 questions. Does anyone have questions? Let me drink some of my protein drink so I can keep my sustenance up. Um, let's see here. Okay, a couple questions. So where are they at here? Let me just scroll up. Let me scroll up. Okay. Do, 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 do. How can the book help you attract high ticket clients, win gigs? Da, da, da. What does it take to build a personal brand? Actually, get the board seats. Is there steps to getting the board seats? So someone asked, what is the yeah, where is it at here? How can how does the book literally actually, like, is there some step-by-step process to actually attracting high ticket clients or speaking gigs, consulting, et cetera, using the book? And yes, there is. I'll go over that in a second here. And that way, when we're talking on that topic, I can dive into it. How do you choose the right book topic that not only sells but positions you as a thought leader? That's a great question. That's a great question. So that question, and then also someone said, uh, let's say to build a personal brand, like to be able to actually unlock the board seats, partnerships, all of that. So on the question of consulting, again, I'll talk about that, the actual steps for the attracting high ticket consulting clients. Um, Where's the other one at? The personal brand. So I think let me dive into some of these. Let me just dive into these. I think if I go over these these revenue streams, I feel like I'm gonna say streams like streamer. If I go over these revenue streams, I think it's going to help answer these questions. So bear with me. If I don't, please emoji it or something, right? Like or just let me know. But I think I'll answer it when I go to this. Um, so let's talk about it. So again, book sales, I think is a given. You're gonna get book sales. Now, there's ways to run Amazon ads, right? If you we run Amazon ads when we launch. We do your bestseller launch. We do it for like 60, 90 days, sometimes 45 days pre-launch as a pre-sale page to get sorry, I have like an itch on my lip. I'm like, how do I itch that? Sorry. Sorry. But we do the Amazon ads. That's going to get a ramp up of like sales and before. So then on launch day, boom, you have sales, right? Not only then we have the campaign of social media, then we have the email blasts, etc. But that Amazon ad account stays with you. So you can take that and then run Amazon ads. Now, we have partners for that. We have people in house, et cetera, that can help you with that. Amazon itself, like book sales margins aren't crazy high. Like some of our clients do make six figures from book sales every year. Not going to say they don't. Some make high five figures, whatever else. Um, but that is like just a single revenue stream. Again, I don't believe in. I believe there's multiple streams you want to make. So setting up the right Amazon ads, making sure that you're talking to everyone everywhere, like you are, and sharing your book everywhere. You're reading quotes of it. Like I have my books, some of my books. There's one of my books. Hello, hello. What if no one's coming to save you? And 67 other meditative journaling questions to challenge your perceptions and change the way you live your life. So this is what you should do. I'm doing what you should do. You should talk about it on a live stream or make a video about it, whatever. Read some things out of it. Talk about how it changes people's lives. Read the reviews. Um, that is something that again you have to kind of promote it, right? Besides your Amazon ads, you got to promote it. Amazon ads themselves are like a thing you got to crack. You got to like figure it out. Usually, like when I first started running Amazon ads, I was every dollar I spent, I lost 50 cents, if that makes sense. And I've run millions of dollars in monthly ad spend for almost every other platform. Then Amazon ads came and it was like $1 in and I'm getting 50 cents back. Like I'm losing money every time, I'm losing half my money. But I've talked to so many ad managers that run Amazon ads, and they're like, "Yeah, if you break even, you're kind of lucky." And I'm like, "That doesn't feel appropriate." Um, but there are people that make money on it. So book sales, again, Amazon ads are a way. You just have to get someone who knows it. We have partners that can do that if you want to actually make money on the book sales. You got to get that revenue stream. I think it's important, but it's not the most important. Why it's important is because you want to have consistent sales happening. Like even if it's a book a day, right? Just something keeps the momentum going, and then making sure you're trying to focus on the reviews because the reviews do make a difference, right? Having thousands of book sales, like some clients have thousands of book sales, but they only have 5 reviews, and we can't manually go in and add reviews, right? That's cheating the system. Like we just don't do that, right? We can't make clients go get reviews. We tell them how to, we do it, and then we have to get them to go ask. So like go ask people to review your book, right? Go do it. There's ways to have people review your book. There's ways to ask groups to read your book and give a review. Like we show you how to do all those things, but you have to do it. And most of our clients have great reviews, but you have to also go do the thing. And so, like for me, on that book I just showed you, What If No One's Coming to Save You, I have 230 something reviews on Amazon, 170 or something, 160 something on Goodreads. Not billions or millions of reviews, but it's something. It's enough for traction, thousands of sales, and there's enough there. So again, but Amazon ads are going to work to get the sales. And again, just promoting it, self promotion, as much as we don't want to. Talk about your amazing thing that you created. Talk about this amazing book that you brought to life. Whether you worked on a team to write it or not, like that is an amazing feat to stick through the process. Even if you have an entire team doing it with you, it's still a process. I hand wrote mine that took forever, so I don't. I don't recommend that. It took me 5 years, which it takes our clients, 6 to 12 months because they work with our team. So um, yeah, save the time. Um, okay, so that's book sales. Also, there's things like TikTok, right? You can do some crazy things on TikTok. You can TikTok shop, Instagram shop. There's all kinds of different ways to get book sales. The other way that has higher margins is audiobooks. We now just recently started to offer audiobooks. We've done it for clients in the past. I have my own audiobooks out there myself. Audiobooks have a higher margin, lower deliverability. It's more like the megabytes of storage, right, that deliver. So it's a lower cost. There's no print cost, right? Same with like ebooks, right? But ebooks, you can't. It's hard to sell a high ticket ebook, but audiobooks can sell for a decent amount. You get higher margins. So audiobooks is another way to get some more money from book sales. Then if you do get a book agent, you get a book deal, you can get royalties from foreign rights or turn it into a movie, exactly, licensing, all that stuff. That, yeah, licensing shows that comes into licensing IP for just books, but like nonfiction, so like that too. More so on fiction. That is where you want to get trademarks. That's where you want to get, like on fiction, if you're doing a world building and you're getting or children's books, whatever, you're turning into a show and there's toys and there's, or if you have like a fantasy world and there's characters and all that, and you have posters and shirts and, it's an entire universe. You really want to get trademarks and you want to get it locked in on the IP and you want to put that pitch deck together to be able to sell it to a network, right? So, okay, let me check. Okay, so moving on. Paid speaking engagements, obviously a great, incredible revenue stream. Being a best-selling author gives you instant credibility and increases your speaking fees dramatically. That's my little one-liner I had on there to remind my. so uh, so speaking engagement. So there is an entire training in our back office, but you can create your speaker profile in a ton of places. Number one, if you don't have a book, get a book. I'm gonna flat out. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep saying it. Um, and then you want to create your talk titles, right? You want to talk about what your talk titles are. What is your thing that your best selling book creates? And when you have that talk title or talk titles, right? You have a handful of talk titles. You additionally want to have your, like your niche, your industry. Where are you going to make the big impact, right? If I'm coming to book you to speak at my event and I find your profile and all these speaker profiles, and I don't know that you actually talk about consulting and speaking and being an author and being a coach and being whatever else. I think you talk about gardening or something because I just don't know. It's not clear. Then I'm not going to be able to book you, right? But you might be the perfect fit. So understanding your niche, your industry, clear messaging, what you talk about, what you do, who you help have a transformation in your speaking engagements, I think is huge. And then that leads into, again, some free offers, right? And you have your talk titles, you have your talks, you want to write out your talks, you want to practice your talks, you want to tear them apart, you want to talk to no one at times and just make sure that you're like recording it and you're sharing it somewhere. And you go into a stage and have 5 people listen to you or have no one listen to you and just record yourself. All of that content, even if you are a no one, even if I hate to say nobody because it sounds like an insult, but we all were at some point. We literally all were. So I was, everyone was. I still, there's some of our clients that are incredible and they have done some of the, like, they've literally changed the world. They have been involved in the military, they've been involved in governments, they've been involved in so many things that have literally shaped the world that we live in today, and people don't know who they are, right? So it's not about like nobody in the sense of you haven't done anything, but nobody in the sense that nobody knows you. So being able to identify your talk titles and your you go through your old talk, get all those videos again of you on the stage, even if nobody's there, you talking like on camera like this, and then recording all of that, and then taking that and turning that into a speaker reel, a sizzler reel, as they call it, 1 minute, 2 minute speaker reel, sizzler reel. That is going to be the thing that people are probably going to jump to watch, right? That's going to be the thing they're going to go, oh, hey, I don't know this person. I look at their page. They have talk titles. They have their industry. Da 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 da. Now here is a speaker reel. Oh, let me watch that real quick. It's the least amount of friction between them and getting to know you and what you sound like on stage and how you present yourself and the energy you hold and how you stand and whatever else, right? And they're going to watch that and they're going to go, oh yeah, this person's great. Or, hey, not a good fit for me, but I still like them, whatever. So get that done. Get that done. So speaking engagements. And then that leads into, you can do keynote speeches, you can do workshops, you can do conferences, you can do retreats, you can do virtual summits where you're just talking about everybody online. I did one thing where I think I mentioned this last time where I did like an hour-long team training to a company and, it pays a couple $1,000. So virtual. like on their meeting, so it's like that is an opportunity. You can get paid 2,500 to go speak somewhere plus expenses. You can get 10,000, 15, 25,000. Those are things people are doing day in and day out. And people are looking for someone like you to give them that transformation. So best-selling book leads into that speaking engagement, right? Um, Rates can go anywhere from 5K to 50K. So depending on the length and also the brand strength. That's like, again, that's why the best-selling book matters. That's why it's important, is for brand strength. Um, okay, and then consulting and coaching. So someone asked about that, right? Like, how do you actually use the book? So when you publish a book, obviously you do position yourself as a best-selling author, as an expert in your field. Um, and let me just adjust this a little bit too, so I can keep moving around. I got a lot of energy, folks. Bringing the energy today. Um, so when you publish a best-selling book, you position yourself as an expert in your field, right? As a credibility authority. Then leveraging that is the key. And so the consulting and speaking is one of those things where people will, I mean, again, you can do all these things, not all of them. You can do a few of these things, like speaking and consulting without a book, but your value, your perceived value goes up, right? Your actual value does go up as well. Um, and again, with that credibility and authority, you can charge higher prices. You can also attract just more clients. So, how have I used a best-selling book to generate consulting clients myself? Great question. Um, when I talk about my book, or any of my books, I have 3 or 4 best-selling books now. But when I talk about my book, one of them's over here. Let me grab it real quick. This is another book, not the one I just shared. Might be a different cover now. This is one of my old ones, but Enlightened Entrepreneurs, right? How to make an income through your impact and create a life on purpose. And see, I'm self promotion, shameless plug. But that book itself, this book is like $65,000 in coaching. If you wanted to learn how to be a coach or a consultant, you could read that book and save $65,000 in trainings. Obviously, there's action steps, there's things that you need to do that we show inside of our back end and other courses and stuff like that too. But I wrote this book and I talked about it and I shared it and I just didn't try to hold it back or hide it or whatever else. And uh, one person bought it. They brought it to, and this is one of the, I think this is on like the Amazon reviews. I might even, you know what, while we're on here, I might even try to check and find it. But they brought it to their, and there uh, they begin to share it with the people in their mastermind, and people were getting such good results from the content in the book itself that they now made it a part of their training in their mastermind, and then hired me to coach them on it, to consult them on it. Um, let's just see here if I can find it real quick. I won't take too long. I love this book. I recommend this to any budding business owner and to my own mastermind group. So I loved that. And I talked to this person. I found them, talked to them, right? It helps you divide and conquer the common pitfalls of entrepreneurship. It's a way, Corey has a way with words and has a calming, soothing way of guiding people into business in the correct way. I love that, right? Great review. Um, you will not be disappointed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyways, okay, I'm not going to just gas myself up and read my own reviews. What am I doing? But I love it. I love it. But my point is though that's how it led to a consulting client. So I know a little bit rambly in my speech. It's a webinar. What are you going to do? Hey, calm it down. All right. But the point is though, if you followed along my nonsense there and my little bit of side track and everything, is that this book that I wrote and published that became a #1 international bestseller led into a consulting contract. Almost all my books have done that. Every book I've launched has done that in some way directly, obviously indirectly as well, but like directly afterwards, I'll talk about it. I'll share it. Someone will buy it. Someone will read it. They'll get excited about the launch. They'll see it. They'll read the inside of it, the content, and go, wow, this is so helpful. They'll find my website in there. They'll reach out to me. So I've been paid to go speak at masterminds, right? To go to fly to Hawaii and have a whole trip to Hawaii and speak and share at a mastermind, and to Texas, to Florida, and Miami, and South Beach, and New York, and actually get paid to speak and teach and coach. Had consulting clients come on board and pay me 2,500 and 5,000 a month to be able to talk to them once a week because I helped their business go from 0 to 30,000 and 50,000 and 80,000 a month, and then 1.8 million in a year and a half, and like those are the results people get. So of course they'll pay for it, but I would have never been able to even help them get those results if I hadn't written the best-selling book and hadn't gotten it out there and hadn't talked about it and hadn't shared it. So that's one way, right? That's a very like it feels like a duh kind of process of that happening, but but that is what happens. Another way for landing consulting clients from having a best-selling book is that you use it in your funnel, right? And this is going to get a bit more complicated, so I'm not going to like build a funnel in front of you, but I'm sure on my YouTube or somewhere out there I have videos of how to build funnels. But um, there's a best-selling book funnel, right? So like you can have a free plus shipping funnel where you have the book on the, hey, I'll give you my best-selling book, award-winning book, da 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 da. It's got so much value in it, and all you do is pay for shipping, right? You probably we've all seen the free plus shipping funnel out there somewhere. People use it for products all the time, but this was originally a huge kind of made famous from Russell Brunson from a book, right? Free plus shipping, and so you pay for the shipping, and then there's a bunch of upsells. You're selling courses, and small $47 offer or 297 a month membership, whatever else. So you can sell courses in there, all that stuff, and then that can be, or you just do it scheduled to a call, right? So there's free plus shipping funnel to sell the courses, memberships, all that stuff with the use of the book as front end. There's also, again, hey, check out my best-selling book. I'm going to give you a free chapter. I'm going to give you the book for free. Just let me know what you think. Da, 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 da. And I'll go ahead and give you this free course or free whatever, bonuses, whatever for buying the book. And then you ask them on the thank you page to book a call, right? Hey, book a call. Let's talk about your business, da, 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 or let's talk about whatever the revenue streams, right? If that was my book, my new book I'm launching, say, hey, let's talk about the 9 revenue streams that you're losing out in your business that my book addresses. But if you'd love a one-on-one call with me, and we'll dive deep into your business, give you full strategy and access to exactly how we can help you create those 9 revenue streams, and plug any holes in your business where you're losing losing that money from those revenue streams, et cetera, et cetera. Boom, now you're getting calls booked from the book, and then eventually getting sales from consulting clients. So again, this is just like a handful. That's 3 handful of ways that you land consulting clients from having a best-selling book. Okay, but only our best-selling books, anyways. And again, monthly recurring on those is where I think people miss out too. Like I'm not against doing like a one-on-one thing. I know there's a consultings that like, hey, pay me for an hour, pay me for whatever per project. I don't live in that realm. I think you got to really decouple. This isn't to knock anybody who does this, but decouple your time and your money. Your value is higher than an hour or a dollar amount around an hour. If you're going to have consulting offer, make sure that you are discussing month to month plan with them, right? Maybe you have a 3-month minimum, so it's like they don't have to have like a full year commitment. Maybe it is a year, I don't know, but it should be 5,000 a month, 2,500 a month, 10,000 a month, whatever that thing is for you, 2,000 a month, whatever your price is, depending on where you're at, in your value that you create for them. Obviously, this isn't just don't just pick a number out of thin air and say this is what I charge. Like, are you going to give them a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x return on that money they're investing with you? If yes, then that's whatever that number is the number, right? Just to be clear, because some people are like, I just pick a number and I sell it. And I was like, no, you got to actually have some value. You got to give them a transformation. They need to be able to get an ROI, a multiple on their investment with you. It's all about that investment and that return. Even if it's life coaching, even if it's like spiritual work, even if it's healing work, if it's family, parenting, like there should be a palpable return on your investment if you put money out there. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, for the consulting. So again, 3-month minimum, 12-month, whatever, but make sure it's recurring revenue, right? It should be whatever that monthly amount is. And you tell them, hey, it's like a minimum of this much time together monthly. That way you have an opportunity to give them the transformation. And I see this a lot with ad buying or, Amazon ads or Facebook ads or YouTube or whatever else. Like, but the same is true for consulting. Like if we work together once or twice, like, yeah, you might get some massive results for like a one-time thing where, let's say I come into your business and I do like a quick audit and I say, hey, here's where your margins are too heavy, right? You're losing this, you're missing this opportunity on upsells for clients. Why aren't you even offering this? Like whatever else, you're not even emailing your clients or your email list. You're not offering, I don't know, X, Y, and Z, whatever the thing is. I'm just using this as an example. If I come into the business and I show you that, yeah, you're going to get a massive change. You're going to be super excited about that. But it's like a one-time thing, and then I just leave, and I don't have any like weekly check-ins with you on a consistent basis on like a 3-month period or longer. It's not only like a disservice to me as the person that should be being paid more on a regular basis as the owner of the consulting offer, right? Like obviously I should want to make money and grow my business. but it's a really a disservice to you as the client if I just come in, tell you all the stuff and leave, and you don't know how to fix it, what to do, how to change it. There, you don't have anyone to fix it or change it. Like now you just know there's a bunch of problems and maybe I gave you all the solutions to it, but you don't know how to execute that or what to do. And like, so eh, it just doesn't, it's like if you went to therapy once and they ripped open your subconscious and they're like, here's your childhood trauma. And then you never went again. Like, what? That would hurt you, not help you. Right. Like, what? So, I'm really animated on this, this webinar. I'm in a good mood today. Mostly every day, but today especially, it's been a good day. Um, so yeah, so having enough so people can not only get that first help from you, but the ongoing. And again, when they get afraid, and this is true even with our own clients, like with the publishing, when we have a contract and it takes 6 to 12 months, and when you get your first sample of writing back, you might be like, "What the hell is this?" Right? Not to say you will be, not everyone is, but sometimes people are like, "Hey, this isn't me," and it's like, "Yeah, it's not you. It's literally not you. It's our team writing it, attempting to get to your voice." But we need your feedback. We need you to tear it apart and say, this is not at all what I'd sound like. I actually would like this and this and this and this. And then now we get closer to your voice. Now it's like, there you are. And then you're like, okay, cool. Um, but if there was a way for you to get out right there because you got scared and we couldn't hold you accountable with a contract and say, no, you've got to keep working with us to get this done because you're in a contract, like people would chicken out and then you'd sabotage your own book and your own success, your own future. Uh, but that's why it's important, right? So that's why it's important to have someone work with you for a long enough period of time to get results. Same with ads. Like you got to set up your ad campaign, set up your images, your creatives, et cetera, write the right funnel, test everything in month 2, and then like give back, reiterate in month 3. By month 4, if you're not seeing some results, like fire that person. Like that's very beginning of month 4, like end of month 3. You should be seeing results in month 3 at some point. Um, so let them go. But like with the Facebook ads or YouTube ads or whatever it is, right, or Amazon ads. But yeah, you have to have some kind of longevity with that. So, anyways, I'm rambling a bit here. So I get excited about ways to help our clients make money. So number 4, online courses, transform your book into digital content. So this can be as simple as, hey, I got 12 chapters in this book. I want to create of 12 modules in a course. I'm going to go use Kajabi or Teachable or Thinkific. Thinkific is how you say it. I think I don't use that one, but Teachable, Kajabi, whatever. And I think I have accounts with both of them with all my courses in it. And then you create the content. You say chapter 1's about this, and you just create that as a course, as action steps with the workbooks, etc. Now you can do that, or you can do some version that's smaller. Maybe it's a free course, right? That's why I tell some of our clients, hey, free course, four videos, and it's take your whole teaching, your whole method, and turn it into 4 small, shorter, very actionable, very powerful videos, trainings, right? You can have screens, you can show some slides, you can, let me see if I could pull an example of this up here, just to show you like one of the trainings I did. One of the trainings I did are created for the back end of our program, Authrs.io. And let me pull this up. I don't know if I'll be able to share it on both screens, but it's in Canva. I made all these slides. Let me share it on the webinar at least. Made all of these slides, and one second here, folks. I did the training, and there's a bunch of these things. I just want to share a little bit of this. This is how to, to our TED Talk mastery, how to write, apply for, and deliver an amazing TED Talk, right? And so you can see there's like a bunch of different slides here. What is that? 24 different slides, right? And I have worksheets and I have all the things, right? Like here's your actual resources list. Here's examples of talks. Here's examples of the template on how to write your talk, how to come up with your big idea, how to apply, like all of that's in there. So I think if you're on YouTube live, you probably didn't see that, but that's okay. That's okay. Join the webinar. Um, but but again, those are things that are in the back end, right? And it's like, so you don't have to have this like, again, like 28 videos deep of all these different trainings, et cetera, like, but you want to have value. You want to share them. It can be, again, a small free course. It's 4 videos, right? And you have some resources. It's actionable. and you give it away with the book. Hey, buy my new book. I'm really excited to launch my new best-selling book. It's called Enlightened Entrepreneurs, and it's got $65,000 worth of coaching and consulting, and just like everything you need to learn how to do to grow your impact through your impact and income through being who you are and making the difference, et cetera, whatever. As an example, and if you buy today, I'm going to give you a free course just for buying my book, and maybe you leave a review. Fingers crossed. Um, and then now again, so pitch done. But now you have this additional asset, right? That helps not only sell books, but is a lead magnet. So if you don't know what a lead magnet is the free thing that you when you opt in to a you get an ad somewhere and they say, hey, give us your email address. So you're paying with your email address, phone number, name in exchange for this free guide, this free course, this free masterclass, this training, insert whatever the thing is. It's free, but really you're buying it with your information. You're selling them, or they're trying to buy your email list or your email, your phone number, your name to become a lead. And so it's a lead magnet. It's, making leads be magnetically drawn to it. But a free course that's around your book and topic is a great lead magnet, is the point of that long tangent. And then that grows your email list. Not only you get some book sales, which is great. Again, it's cherry on top. They're not like end of the world. They're not the best thing. They're not the worst thing. But then you now have your email list, and people are getting great actionable content from you. They're like, "Oh, this is amazing! Like, you got this amazing book. I'm getting stuff from. You got this course. Like, I'm getting a ton of great information from. Getting really excited about it, et cetera, et cetera." And then now you can insert whatever upsell, right? So maybe at the end of that free course, you say, "Hey, I hope you really enjoyed my book. Hope you enjoy the course. If you'd like to work with me more, here's a link to book a call to work with me one-on-one in consulting." Or, "Hey, I have this group, more paid, more premium group coaching offer where you get to work more intimate with myself, and my team, and everyone else, and it's X amount, whatever. Book a call. Let's talk about it. Or here's the link to buy it, etc." Or if you really got a great result from that, this is the expanded version. It's 997 or whatever, $1,500. And then you got a payment link right there. Boom. They pay, they sign up, and now you got a customer because you gave all that value. So that's online courses. That's one of the many, or of the nine, I guess I should say. Yeah, that's the name of the webinar, the nine revenue streams. And then that ties in the membership community. So similar thing. Let me just check on questions too. One second. If I raise my hand, I'm going to raise my own hand. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm good there. Okay, cool. Let me make sure this is good. Hello, YouTube. Say hi to the chat. Hey, chat. Is that what the kids call it? Top chat. Live chat. New managing. Okay, clues. Cool. Anyways, what the kids say, the streamers. What's up, chat? Because I'm an unk now, I guess is what the kids call me. I'm not. I might even be a grandpa. I guess I don't know. I don't know what. I'm not a really grandpa, but that's what the kids. I'm too old to be part of the cool kids now. Okay. That leads into the communities, the membership communities. I just checked. There's no. I think it sounds like questions are getting answered. Questions are getting. Let me hold on. I didn't do the Q&A one. Let me check here. Yeah, so far questions are getting answered. Thank you. Yeah, if it didn't make sense on when you asked me a question about the consulting, if that cleared up the lead magnet. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then I'll dive deeper into some of these things in a second. And we only have like 7 minutes left, um, but yeah, I just want to make sure I answer those. So yeah, the thing with the courses, so there's consulting, like very one-on-one premium, right? Where someone has your time, right? Even speaking, like if you're into a speaking engagement live, that's your time, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, but it's you live. You have to fly into there in person. You want to make money on it. And then same thing for consulting. If it's one-on-one coaching or consulting, that's premium. That's your time. That's your hour to hour, right? It's your time. Um, if it's a group coaching or consulting offer, right, or corporate consulting, maybe you're doing it for a business and you have the ability to work with a whole department, whatever else, right, on the consulting side. Corporate consulting, that's a different animal, but it's also like you can charge a higher price because it's corporate, and you can also get a massive return because you're doing a whole team or a whole department or a whole whatever it is, whole entire company, right? Um, Group coaching or consulting, right? It's a one to many ratio. So you're having one or two, kind of like training sessions a week, open office hours type of thing. Everyone's getting the same content, but it's a one to many ratio. Like I'm doing this webinar with dozens of people on, right? I've done some with hundreds, right? Or I've done some with five, right? But it's a one to many ratio. It's not a one on one. Still getting great value, but it's not the same time exchange, right? Um, and then, so again, pricing can kind of go down as your time gets multiplied, right? Or expanded. You can do more with less of your time, and you can add the same value, right, to people, or different levels of value, tiers of value. And then the other part of that is where you now go into again a course where it's like you can sell a million people that same course. There's no coaching, there's no support, quote unquote. I guess you want to have some support, but no one's getting on calls, et cetera, et cetera. So you can scale that very rapidly. The inverse of that, right, is where you want to have that community. You want to have a lot of support, a lot of engagement. Is membership style communities, right? Recurring revenue, great as a business owner. Usually high margins, right? Like SaaS, but it's a community. So you're having, you're not necessarily, it's not a software product, but similar thing. We have monthly recurring, right? And again, it can be small, 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 200 bucks, whatever. It could be premium where it's 300 bucks, 500 bucks for a community where you're not really one-on-one or anything. You could have a really, like, again, a higher ticket version of this. It's called a mastermind, where it's not necessarily a monthly recurring revenue. It can be if they do payments. It's usually an annual style offer, right? And that would renew each year, so it's annual recurring revenue. But they could, opt out or whatever. If they do payments now, it's a recurring revenue, right? Monthly, but maybe that's 50K, 100K. I've seen some for a million, right? And it's not really about you; it's about the community you bring together, right? How many people? Like again, I think about our community of authors, right? Like you got people that are making the decisions for the economy, making the decisions for the military and war, making decisions for our entire government, um, and all of business. Like that's kind of a big that's a big deal. As all I'm going to say. Now our community is amazing. Now I don't think I did that. I think our value that we've created, not even our team. I think our team and myself and my co-founder as well. I think we all had our part to play in it. I think it's incredible. I'm not going to downplay our part in that. I think our value and our services are so high that we've drawn in these people and we've gotten great results for people. We do what we say we're going to do. So we get recommended more. And when someone that comes from a high level position, they call the small circle of people that they know and say, "Hey, you heard of this guy? Or you heard of, me, or you've heard of this team or this company?" And they say, "Yeah, they're great." It's like, oh, okay. Like these are people protecting the leaders of the free world. And anyways, I'm trying to give it away because we have NDAs, but very important people, very impressive people, incredible stories. They've literally shaped our world. And so that's a mastermind, right? Like that is a group, which I don't want to say too much, but we are going to be discussing that, um, bringing all of them together. And so why I bring that up as an example is because whatever that price point is, it's not so much about me teaching, right? It's not about me. Like, of course, I'm going to share everything. I open my book to, no pun intended, to every one of our clients. There's nothing they can't ask or nothing they can't get help with as far as like the how to's or connected to the right partner or person. Um, that being said, the mastermind isn't about me. So when we release a mastermind, right, and we bring everyone together, hypothetically, if we did that, um, so the weirdest wink. If we did that, it wouldn't be about me, right? It would be about me facilitating them working together, them connecting, them sharing their network, them building businesses together, them investing with each other, them doing whatever that is, right? That's not the agenda. Isn't about me saying, "Hey, here's everything I know. I'm the guy." And not to say that that's bad. People do that, and I think that's great, but the goal of the mastermind is for them to connect with each other. They are at a certain level of life and experience and connectivity to this world, that if they were to join forces, now they're like 1 degree away from everyone, right? So So anyways, that's a mastermind. That's a mastermind. Now, but your mastermind doesn't have to be that, right? It could be something totally different, but give them massive value. They get more intimate work. They get a connection. They get a community, right? A mastermind by definition is two or more minds sharing together. I'm butchering it, but you get the point. Um, and so that's really what you want to do is bring that together. So that's membership communities. Okay, I'm brushing up against five. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Membership communities, corporate and brand opportunities. Your status as a thought leader can lead to paid board seats. We talked about that, which I could, I guess, double deep. I could double click into a bit. Um, One of the things is, and again, the board seats I think is really important because we teach our clients this at authors, in the back end. Um, kind of back office, right? Is how to land board seats, right? Some of our clients have gotten those a good amount, surprisingly haven't. Um, but in order to get a board seat, right, you need to be able to bring something to that company that it's not about just being a high status, right? It's also about being able to share a very unique insight and strategy into something that you've done that no one else, not, I don't know, no one else may be extreme, but like most people haven't done or don't know how to do. You haven't grown through a company with the margin squeezes and the different things and scaled it and done an exit, right? If you have, then now you would be a huge asset to someone who needs that help as they scale from 3 to 5 to 10 to 25. If someone has a product business, right, and they're selling a product and you've done a product, you've been a product manager, or you've helped um, sell a company that was a product based type of company, product first company. Those are assets, right? Or you've just had, been at corporate, you've been in C-suite in these large companies. Then how to actually manage those, how those teams work, how those companies operate at a level of 5,000 employees or 10,000 employees, or whatever. And so it doesn't have to be some extreme. I'm giving examples. They don't have to be extreme. I'm getting waved to wrap it up here. They don't have to be extreme examples. Like you could just have your experience, but having a best-selling book, right, gives you that credibility and authority and adds to all these things. And one of those, again, revenue streams where we show you how to walk through applying for board seats, landing board seats, getting board seats. People do, there is free board seats. Again, I'm not opposed to those to get your chops a little bit, understand the process. You meeting once a quarter, you're giving feedback, figure out how much time you're investing on those, especially if it's a nonprofit, right? That's a quality thing to do. But then the paid board seats, right? That's what the revenue stream is, right? There's not a revenue stream in the free. Um, the paid board seat is where now you're getting paid 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, whatever it is. You're meeting 4 times a year, right? You're maybe giving 10 hours a quarter, maybe more, maybe less, just depending on the company, right? Or you're getting some equity shares, right, as well, because you are adding so much value as an advisor, as a member of the board, and a strategic partner where you're bringing in connections, relationships, investors, et cetera, know-how, knowledge, perspective that other people can't see. So having a best-selling book sure does lead to that. I'll tell you that right now. And again, that can be 25K up to $250,000 per year, plus potential stock options, equity. Okay, we're gonna combine a couple here. I'm over my time, but I am gonna combine a couple here. Um, Let me make sure I am answering any other questions. Okay, I know most people like to do Q&A at the very end. I just like to check in throughout. So anyway, so we're good there. Okay, so we're gonna combine a couple here. So I mentioned licensing and IP. Media and licensing deals. These are kind of, again, similar, especially if you grow your best-selling book and you start to land, like you grow your own podcast, or again, when you work with us, you get 6 guaranteed podcast placements, plus depending on when you come into working with us, we sometimes offer a bonus. It depends on when you come in. So I don't know if this is still live right now when you're seeing this, but talk to your manuscript strategist, whoever that is at the time, maybe it's Jordan, and see if that's available. But when you are working with us, you get those 6 guaranteed podcasts. You additionally get, again, depending on the bonus and the time frame, if we're offering it now, we call the Vegas experience. And there's one in 2 weeks I'm gonna be going to in Vegas at the Wind Hotel and Resort, Casino and Resort. Inside of the Wind, there's a Sirius XM Studios. And so it's not always there, but 3 out of 4 times it's there. Sometimes we mix it up. with our podcast tour partner. And so we do in person. You get 3 bonus podcasts there at the studio. It's really fun. It's very much like a TV type of vibe. And so, but as you're getting more of those podcast interviews, if you start your own or you whatever else, you can get a podcast like syndication, or like potentially an offer. Like some of these podcasts are getting like $100 million offers to do deals. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen working with us like right away, but like that is there, that exists, which is insane that that ever happened, right? Like people are getting $100 million plus. Like one, I know Joe got like a $250 million contract with Spotify. Other people got a $100 million contract with Apple or Sirius or whatever else, right? Like Spotify, YouTube. So those things exist. Now that all comes from having the IP, having the content, having the book, having the positioning, credibility, et cetera. So that those kind of come together, and that ties into again like combining the brand sponsorships and partnerships. You have a platform, you can get sponsored content, paid to sponsor it, to be on your podcast, or have ad reads in your podcast or on your YouTube videos or whatever else, all from having that best-selling book and that credibility. And now you're getting these brand deals and brand sponsorships and UGC content offers and et cetera, free products, a little equity, whatever else to share, endorsements, affiliate partnerships, all of that. And then again, growing your business is huge. You get a higher exit if you want. You can get a higher multiple. You can scale, get more clients. Whatever the thing is for you with your specific business, whatever that is, it's going to add a higher direct and indirect revenue streams, and it's going to have a higher perceived value, and then it becomes a more lucrative business. So that, and that adds into again the equity plays with the board deals and all of that, et cetera, et cetera. So okay, we're here. We are here at the end of the Corey Gladwell show. No, the Authrs.io webinar on the nine of the 12 different revenue streams from being a best-selling author. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to our team, authrs.io, authors.io without the O, authors.io, and or at authors.io on a lot of socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. Or me, Corey S. Gladwell, Corey S. Gladwell, Gladwell, or Corey Gladwell at Corey Gladwell, or at Corey S. Gladwell, depending on the platform, LinkedIn versus YouTube versus Instagram. And yeah, reach out to us. There is, if you're watching the replay of this, again, go to those websites. If you're live, I'm going to share in here a link to our, calendar, because we are running that a different bonus right now. So if you want to jump on, schedule a call with Jordan, and ask any questions, and then I'm happy to hop on some calls if need be as well to discuss any of this. But anyways, yeah, I hope this was amazing. Again, you don't have to work with us, but get a best-selling book. I would love for you to work with us. I think you should work with us if you have any success as a C-suite, as a founder, as a business owner, again, a veteran, a military, government, just even if you're a small business owner, whatever it is, you're doing multiple 6 figures, multiple 7 figures, whatever else, like a best-selling book is what led me to everything that I wanted. And I don't say that like flippantly. Like I literally wrote my first best-selling book, The Human Experience, because I had this profound spiritual experience, and it shifted from having owned nightclubs and restaurants and vodka brands and all this stuff in my early 20s, and it's everything you think it would be, right? And to just feeling like empty and hopeless, right? And like I got all this material success and all these things, and I just didn't feel alive. I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt hollow and empty and disconnected from the universe and God and everything else. So I just didn't feel connected anymore. And so I went into meditation, and in 2012 had this amazing experience. And if you haven't heard the story, there's probably some clips on YouTube or whatever about this, different podcasts I talk about sometimes. But that transformed my life. That gave me just, I don't know how to even describe it, like this unconditional love, this bliss, this full joy, this presence, this being fully here in the now, in reality. And that reprieve of the self, right, of the story of me, was gone for like 3 weeks. I was just in this bliss and this love. And so After that, I was like, oh wow, okay. There's something else besides just money and just success and cars and all the material things and women or whatever it is. Early 20s, I was like chasing everything that was materialistic, and so I switched, and I was connected. I was meditating, and I was trying to find out more of who do I really want to be when I grow up. At that point, I was 25, yeah, turning 26, and so I meditated every day and connected, and I had all these insights and things come to me. That's what turned into my book. That turned into the human experience. That turned into what if no one is coming to save you? Da, da, da. That turned into enlightened entrepreneurs. And the manifestation journal, which I'm republishing later, but newest books coming out. So but after I published that first book, The Human Experience, the year following, I brought in an additional 365 or $370,000 in new annual added revenue from speaking and consulting, directly correlated from the book. So when I talk about all these things, I'm not I'm not just like, here's the possibility. I'm like, this is literally what I did, and this is what we've helped 200 plus clients do on repeat, right? And that was 2016, 2017 for me. So it's 2025 at the time of recording this. It's September 18th, 2025, and I have continuously done that. So, um, anyways, clients have made way more than me. I'm happy to make 6, 7 figures, but clients have made, done even better than me, and that's the goal: is give them even more than I've been able to do myself. And so, and I've done quite well, I feel like. But the point in that is, take the words I'm saying and don't just brush them off. Go take the action, get it done. And if you want to shortcut that process and not take 5 years like I did to get that first book out, and then a whole other year later to bring in all that revenue, um, book a call with us. Authrs.io, authors.io, and I'll talk to you very soon.